Welcome back, guys, and we are going to be talking about building a faceless brand. Now, some of you might want to build a personal brand, but you don't want to show your face. Maybe you're shy, maybe you have people you don't want knowing you do videos. There's many reasons why. A faceless brand isn't about being invisible. It's about making your identity through your voice, your visuals, your character, and your personality. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to build that connection without having to show your face. Now, why are faceless brands actually blowing up? Well, it's easier to make. You have less pressure, you get to keep your privacy, and you can still build trust at speed. The mistake faceless brands keep making is the fact that once they remove their face, they remove their identity, tone, and story. The entire thing is, if people can't feel you, they won't follow you. Now, when it comes to creating that faceless brand, obviously you're not going to have your face in it. So how are you going to establish that connection? This would be through your voice, your structure, your perspective, and your constant showing up. That's how many creators you see on YouTube Shorts or all over the social media have blown up. They haven't shown their face, but you can instantly identify them through their editing, through their visuals, through their personality and the tone of their voice. That's how you can establish connection without having to show your face. There are 4 pillars when it comes to building your identity with a faceless brand, and this is how you establish the connection. The first one would be your voice. You need to have a consistent voice, the tone of your voice, the pace of your voice. Maybe you add some humor to your voice. You want to make it where people instantly recognize your voice the second they hear it. Because once you achieve that, that's how you know identity is built. Think of storytelling creators, for example. Their voice is their brand. The next pillar is your visual identity. When I'm talking about your visual identity, I'm talking about what the viewers can see visually, hence the name. These would be your editing, your fonts, the type of B-roll you'd use. Everything they'd see would need to be on brand. Now, all the visuals they'd see, as I said, your editing, your text, the colors, they would need to be consistent. And once you have them consistently throughout all your videos, what's going to happen when a person who sees a lot of your videos ends up stumbling across another one? They're going to recognize it as yours. You want to get it to a point where they don't need to see your name to know that that is your video. So your visual identity is very important. So we have your voice and your visual identity. The third pillar is your character. And what I mean by your character is what you believe in, who you actually are, what your angles are, things you agree or disagree with, everything about your character being consistent throughout your videos so people understand what your brand actually stands for. For example, a way to establish a character would be, I create content exposing other content creators. That's your character. That's your identity right there. Another example would be, I make gym workouts that seem complicated, simple. So you simplify gym workouts. That's how you build a character. And once it's consistent, people will start to build that connection with you because they understand what they're going to get from you without you needing to give it to them first. So far, you guys need to understand a faceless brand still has an identity, but it's expressed differently. And for the fourth and final pillar, and we've been talking about this little by little with the other pillars, is consistency. Now, when it comes to showing your face on social media, people have that instant recognition. As soon as they see your face, they know exactly who you are. But when it comes to not showing your face, you need to be consistent with everything you do. As I said, your visual identity needs to be consistent. Your fonts, text, B-roll, editing styles need to be consistent. The type of videos you make would need to be consistent. So maybe the topics or maybe the niche as a whole. Other ways could be the cadence of your voice, your storytelling style, etc. So as a whole, your videos need to be consistent with one another for them to get that instant recognition. That's how you build a faceless brand without actually showing your face. Let's go over the mistakes faceless creators actually make. Their content sounds way too robotic. It doesn't sound human, so there's no room for connection to be able to be built. Another one would be too visual heavy. They focus so much on visuals that they don't leave any room for personality. Being too anonymous, so no voice and no story. And a lack of consistency. That there is the biggest one. If you don't have consistency, who's really going to recognize you? Anytime one of your already existing followers see your video, they're not going to watch that video and think, oh, this is the person I know. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt and watch the video. No, they're going to skip it because they don't know it's that person they followed. So you need to make sure you are consistent. That's basically it when it comes to building a faceless brand. Very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Instead of showing your face, you need to make sure your pillars are on point. Your voice, your visual identity, your character, and your consistency. Consistency is key everywhere, but here it's very, very important. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys want any help, feel free to DM me on Instagram, Ask Libs. See you guys next time.